Like a roller coaster. Like DMT is like one of those roller coasters that you start and it goes shoot. And
Like
you're
the
already doing
Hulk.
everything. Yeah.
I hate that shit.
I love that.
I hate roller coasters. And when they told me, no, this is a soft one, and they put me in the Hulk, I came out puking all over the damn place.
Because it goes.
And then they were like, oh, let's go to the Dr. Doom one. Yeah, bro, I had to go home.
Yeah. One and done. One and done.
Oh, my God.
Welcome back to another ALV podcast.
What up, what up, what up?
Follow us on Instagram at podcast ALV.
And to see the YouTube videos, the link's in the bio, so click on it, check out all the videos we got.
Yep. And to listen to the episode, go to ALVpodcast.com. And here we go.
Well, we got a special guest, our boys DJ IOP, our boy CANO over here. So, welcome back, guys.
Thank you. Thank you
Glad
so
to
much.
have you here again.
You're ready. Light vibes.
Oh,
Quarantine vibes.
Quarantine vibes. For
You've
sure.
definitely been killing it. You've definitely been killing it.
I appreciate it. I
Yeah,
take
man.
pride in my work. I love what I do, and I love the whole industry and the whole everything. I'm just happy.
Yeah.
I don't even see it as killing. I just see doing what I love.
One of the things that we've been doing lately in the last few episodes is talking to people about how the coronavirus has been affecting them.
And
what
their
have they been doing.
industry.
Exactly. So we've been seeing you online. We've been seeing different things. Like, how has it affected you? But also, how have you overcome?
Adapted to
Exactly.
the situation.
It's affected us hard. Even Cano can vouch as DJs has affected us very hard. But hard times make hard men,
Yes.
hard people, so strong people. So we find a way to try to bring that entertainment, just like you guys here with the whole podcast and everything. We try to, which I learned a lot about you guys also. And we try to bring that entertainment now into people's mobiles, people's cell phones, people's entertainment systems,
Right.
Nowadays with the technology, it's so cool. You can, they're on, somebody's on. You plug it to your home system, you plug it to your car. And the way that we got it plugged up, it sounds like you're listening to iTunes or listening to whatever got podcast, straight, direct, bam, bam. So it's been a good thing. We've been adapting.
Right. Yeah, and I feel like it's a time for innovation. You know what I mean? Like, obviously this is going to change a lot of things in a lot of different industries, and it's time like these right now for like people like us to kind of innovate and kind of find a way around it. You know what I mean? And still bring that entertainment to the people and stuff like that. So yeah, what you guys are doing is awesome, man.
I love it. You see a lot of people who are, fearful to be in groups or fearful to do different things. And, with us, we found outlets where, especially in the future, if someone's fearful, they can call in.
Yeah.
And that's not just on a normal phone. Like, it would legit sound like they were here.
Right,
So that's something we're going to pull out in the future. And
I got the rig for you.
Yeah.
I'll show you the way. It's very easy. Anybody. I also been saying it on my socials that even though we're going where we're going, we're all going through this together. Just like you say, if you need anybody, I'm more than open for that call, for that FaceTime, for you even tell people if you're hungry.
Yeah.
Not everybody. I'm not gonna have a whole bunch of line of 500, but my close people. Hey,
Right.
if you need anything, definitely.
No, and that's a cool thing I saw that you were doing as well as what you guys are doing as far as like the DJ group that you guys are going out and giving like first responders and the medical staff, like feeding them and giving them food. That's awesome.
ServeTheHeroes.com.
That's awesome.
www.servetheheroes.com. Shout out to Looney, shout out to Cano for helping everything happen. We took that initiative to, aside from everything that's happening, even though I'm not a firm believer of what's happening yet, I know that this this thing is out there, but it's not,
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not gonna get into that, but aside from my
Just getting
point,
started.
aside from my point, I wanted to make sure that we help out the community.
Oh
also.
yeah, that's what it's all
And
about.
that's
Well, you have regardless of what our beliefs are,
yes.
you still have people doing these jobs that are insane. Where you see the pictures of they've been waiting face masks for like 24 hours and they're all black and blue.
Yeah, brother.
It's crazy, man. Like,
we know people who are like nurses, doctors.
Yes.
and definitely hats off to them. I mean, to everything they're going through. I mean, it's definitely rough. We can only imagine what they're going through, and the shifts that they're working, the hours that they're working, and I'm sure it's something like real intense. So, and I had a question for you guys. Now that with this whole pandemic thing and things changing at such a rapid rate, you guys being in the nightlife industry, being DJs and stuff like that, how do you guys think it's going to change the nightlife?
That's one thing I've been talking with him about. I don't know, man. Like, I think, it's going to take a little bit of a while for things to get back to like how everything was. Because one, a lot of people haven't been working, so they don't got the money right now like that to be spending. And another thing is just we don't know how everybody's going to be reacting to this, social distancing, all that. Like, everybody's so freaked out right now.
For sure.
So, I don't know. I think it's going to take a little bit of a while, man. A couple months. I mean, hopefully, don't take that long, but I think it's going to definitely affect in the beginning.
For sure.
The question is, do you feel it is going to get back to normal? I think that's my scare. Like,
I believe it's going to get back to normal. It's going to take its time, but it's going to get back to normal.
I mean, yeah, I think eventually it will, but I definitely think it's going to take time. Because, I mean, I know we've been through other flus and stuff before.
SARS,
MERS, and everything,
it just
it's still,
comes back.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think it's definitely going to take time, though. This time.
I believe it might everything get back to normal after the elections. Don't quote me on that.
I have a theory, and I believe, like, how you said, there's been things like this that's happened before and everything, and, we jump back into it.
Right.
But my thing with this happening now, I feel like back then we didn't have the social media, we didn't have such an amplification of what was going on, like how we have it now. Now it's like at another level. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like we talked last episode that CNN's got a clicker of like constantly telling you how many deaths, how many people are infected. Right, and that shit gets to people's heads, and they're like, oh no, well this we can't go out, we can't do this, we can't do that, and it's fear mongering. You know what I mean? So it's it's definitely this with all the social media that we got, with all the different platforms that we have. It's definitely amplified this to a different level that we've never seen before. So, I mean, it's definitely going to take a little bit of time or something different to come back or come around to change people's mindsets on, the whole situation.
Yeah, so. You see now that a lot of places, especially that Kemp has opened up a lot of places, places that are a little suspect. But at the same time, you're like, damn, like, you guys haven't found anything to deal with it, whether it's a vaccine or figuring things out. It's like, just open it. Now it's like, hey, it's you're asking for it, And I always thought that in the back of my head too, as conspiracy as it sounds. Like, well, are they doing this on purpose because a lot of people are itching to get out, and once they get out, boom, you're kind of good to go. Where more people get sick. That's the hard part.
It's a tough one.
It's a tough one.
I know like he's a DJ and you're saying you're a DJ too.
Yeah.
Like before we kind of get into more stuff, I would love to know more about
give us a little background story.
Give a little background of who you are, man.
I mean, I've been DJing out here for about 10 years now in the nightclubs and stuff.
Nice.
When I started, I was a little bit more in the American scene, but then I transitioned to the Latin because the Latin scene was always kind of like, that's where my heart's at.
Right.
He's Puerto Rican too.
So
three of them.
So I started, early. I had some DJs help me out and stuff to get into it, and boom, I started DJing. I worked for 2 radio stations out here.
Nice.
Been doing my thing. Done concerts. I used to DJ at Rumba. I was there for like
Posh
5-6 years.
Back in the day.
Posh is really where I started.
Yeah.
So that's like what kind of got my name out and stuff. And so I've been around here for a minute.
Oh, wow. How do you I guess, where are you originally from?
I'm from Puerto Rico.
What part?
I'm from Aguadilla.
That's actually some of the best surfing.
Yep.
Surfing.
We got Crash Boat over
there. Crash Boat is right there.
I have to show you my surfboards. They're in the garage, man. Oh my god, you just made me want to cry. Who influenced you, obviously, to want to become a DJ?
Honestly, I used to listen a lot to the radio and all that, and really one of the DJs that was always like the guy to me was Alex Sensation when I used to listen to him. You know,
He's that guy. He's that
you
guy.
know, he just got that perfect radio voice, all that. You know,
even still to this day, he's rocking.
Yeah, and you know, back in that day, you know, with the whole mix scene, that was like when the intros and stuff were coming out for DJs and all.
Yeah.
So it was just dope to hear that, and I was always like, man, I want to be like that. You know,
That's awesome.
You ever heard of DJ Lobo?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I have his app.
Yeah,
yeah.
Smart guy, very cool guy.
Yeah,
They're in New York too.
you download the app. It's called DJ Lobo, but it has like it's free and it has every like DJ's
Every
mix
genre.
and,
Oh, wow.
it's sick, man.
That's
you can
awesome.
just go nuts and play
Got
for a party.
major vibes. Shout
That's
out
awesome,
to Lobo.
man.
That's awesome.
I did like what you were saying when we were talking before, especially about like the bodies and things like that. I don't know, like we've always kind of asked the people, prior to like what are their mindsets on it. I know it's one thing of, hey, how does it affect you? But I'm like, do you think it's legit? Do you think it's not legit? Like kind of pick somebody's brain on their opinion of like what they think of everything that's been going on.
Well, before I start that, there you go. To be, even today, this guy, we went to Publix, and I'm not used to this shit. Everybody with masks. I do one of those. He says other people have been looking at me like,
The lady that was.
Manita, come on, dog. Get out of here, dog. Listen. From the data, I don't know. It's a sporadic thing. Like, for example, we had one of our bouncers from Red Martini that he's passed away from COVID.
Yeah.
Oh, I did see that.
Yeah. She passed away from COVID, but in the circle of a lot of people, everybody that I know, that's the one person that I've heard from my circle. And I can see your Fred the Godson, rest in peace, Fred the Godson. People in the industry that have passed. Tom Hanks survived. His wife survived. They say the death toll, 70,000 people. I don't know if a lot of these people have ever been to a Mercedes-Benz Stadium or a Madison Square Garden and see what 50,000, 70,000 people look like. But that's a lot of bodies and a lot of coffins. Not that little 200 that they buried in New York. And to be honest with you, I know the HIPAA law is crazy, but I never got inside to see anything inside that coffin. Concentration camp, which I would call today's Guantanamo, on a steroid, where they used to grab all the Polish, all the Jews and everything, and they would gas mask them. They would gas them. They'd burn them, and they would bury them in mass graves. And in these documentaries, you see what thousands, 50,000s, hundreds of thousands of people live like in single graves.
Yeah.
So 70, 50,000 people in 2 months dead. That's a lot of morgue work.
That's a lot of bodies.
It's a lot of. Look, I'm not gonna lie. Even in Puerto Rico with the Hurricane Maria, they hid how many people died. Okay, just with 4,000 bodies that they hid, the pueblo, the people, went into the morgue and started looking around and started smelling. And all of a sudden, with the smell, they found 2 containers full with 4,000 corpses.
Because remember, the media came out first. Like Trump actually came out and was like, oh yeah, it's only like such and such, and everybody in Puerto Rico was like, no, that number is way bigger than what we thought.
You got 50,000 corpses, 50,000 dead people in 2 months is a lot of work. We would have had a crazy pandemics in the hospitals. My man, I see the people, all these doctors doing TikToks.
Yeah, it's true. Like the nurses are like having this good old time.
Having a great.
Shouldn't you be working right now? Like,
it's like, aren't you going through a pandemic? That's the word, pandemic.
Right.
Unprecedented. These are the words of these past 4 years. I've never heard the word unprecedented more these past 4 years than any other word.
That's true.
Whether it's good or bad.
Right. Yeah.
So
I feel like, but I also feel like, like you said, like 50,000, 70,000 the toll. And yeah, it does make sense. Like, like that's a lot of people, like a lot of more work, and and you notice the cities that it's affecting the most. It's like, big cities like New York, like, like, California, like here in Atlanta, Chicago,
all the 4 big ones.
like the big major cities. And to think like, the majority of the people that are getting sick and dying are in these cities, you're not hearing like, oh, well, we're having, shortages of like the cremators or stuff like that. Like we can't get the bodies in, we can't get, stuff like that. You don't really hear any of that.
You don't see the news going into the morgue. Oh, today we received another dump truck of 1,000 new corpses.
Right.
How many people have passed away in Georgia?
I think it's over 1,000. It's like
Probably
over 1,000.
now. A little over 1,000, I think.
There was people who, like almost 100,000 maybe or something like that, or 50,000. I forgot what the number is. That got it. But then out of that, it might have been like a little bit more than 1,000.
Yeah, it's like
that
10% somewhere around there.
Yeah, I to be honest with you, in my crazy world, you know, everything is a numbers game, and we all know that these pharmaceuticals and this healthcare industry is very, you know, oh, you're coughing, check, COVID.
Yeah.
Oh, asthma, check, COVID.
Right.
Because, you know, they get paid more money to diagnose a COVID patient than a flu patient.
Right. And they came out with a statement. I read it
I saw
somewhere
that.
where, you know,
quite
a lot
a few
of
of them.
hospitals, like, they benefit from you or like a nurse or a doctor or somebody being like, oh, you know, he's got a cough, he's got a fever, it's COVID. You know, they get paid more off of that than just being like, oh, you just got a cold or you just got, you know, a flu or some like minor that they got medication for. You know, they don't get paid as much as if somebody writing them off as COVID patient.
Yeah, correct.
You know what I mean?
They get more,
so
like,
they get like
taxes
3 or
and
4 times more from like insurance companies and shit like that than they would off just something basic.
And there's been a lot of statistics that have come out lately where somebody could die, like let's say of a heart attack, and they would say, hey,
Complications
on
of
their death
COVID. Yep.
put on it.
Yeah.
Doctors
Yeah.
have come out and said, yo, they're trying to tell us to do this.
Yeah, that they're getting forced to put like even if it's something minor, and like the death certificate is COVID. But okay, well, what was the reason?
They never tell you that.
They never tell you.
My mother-in-law and my father-in-law, they're 70-something years old. They're getting harassed every day by the doctors. Come get yourself checked. Panita, they've been getting quarantined for 6 weeks already. They haven't left the house in 6 weeks. I take them everything. They don't need to get... They just want to diagnose them as COVID.
Right.
Yes.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
And that's where the fear comes in.
Yeah, fear mongering.
Because if you go in for a cough, it's like a placebo. You know, you go in and because you're coughing, but you've seen everything, you're like, you know what, let me go check. You might just have a cough and you know, and the doctor's like, oh yeah, you got
It's
it.
like
You're
taking your fucking car to the mechanic.
Yeah.
For an oil change, you come back, you need 4 tires, you need a new engine.
A new transmission. You
You
know what? It's total. Get that shit out of here.
But it's a 2020. Like,
Right.
And
Exactly.
but it's true though, because if even if you're not really, like, we don't really watch the news that much because we know a lot of it's bullshit.
Yeah.
But it's still in the back of your head. So if I did start going coughing or some of that, I went and they're like, oh, you got it. Yeah, that's still gonna like psychologically fuck you up.
Right.
You know, and then they're like, okay, I need to give you this to make you better. Guess what? You don't know what's in that. That could be that COVID.
Yeah.
You know?
Or just like the flu shot. They give you the flu to the battle
It's like
the
a
flu.
small dose.
Yeah.
So your body can fight it off. And
Exactly. Create antibodies and
recognize it,
shit.
yeah.
Listen, for everybody that's healthy and everybody that's good, apparently it's affecting people with issues, affecting people with breathing problems,
Yeah.
affecting people with immune system issues and
Yeah,
all
like
that,
people that got
diabetes.
asthma and stuff
Yeah.
like
Right.
that, you know,
Like
because
obesity.
it affects the lungs.
Yeah.
You know,
Fred the Godson, he was like rapper. He was like 300 pounds. He died out of complications of COVID, but apparently he hit his respiratory. But the guy was 300 and something pounds too.
Yeah.
One of my good friends was like that. One of my good friends just sent us a text message like 2 days ago, and the best man at his wedding in New York died, and he was just out walking his dog, and he was like breathing heavy. He didn't know what was going on. He came back, called his mom, which lived like right there. Was like, hey, come get the dog. I need to go. And next thing you know, he like collapsed right on the floor.
Oh wow.
You know, and then like they said that he passed away like in the ambulance going like that quickly.
Wow.
You know,
that's
and I don't know, it's a toss up because you hear things about like 5G, you hear things about this, and
Right.
like it's compelling, you know, and like you'll never know whether or not it's true or not. But like when you start doing the research and hearing people that have knowledge about, well, look, you know, frequencies of 5G create this, and that, which are like factual. Like you can look it up and you can see that when
they say
when like every time like the Spanish flu, things like that happened, they also created something new. right? Like Wi-Fi or something new that like your body couldn't really handle that affects in a different way. You know, and those there's legitimate like proof to that. So, but then you don't know like, okay, was it biological? Was it this? Now there's news where you see about how Australia wanted to actually do research to find out where it started from, which is tapping into China. And then China came out was like, listen, if they do that, there's going to be sanctions and there's going to be repercussions.
Yeah, nobody. China doesn't want nobody looking at that.
No.
And Trump just said the exact same thing. Trump just put his people on, and they were like,
supposedly,
listen,
he's doing an investigation, or he's putting his
supposedly.
supposedly
China.
He's putting his people to look into China and also the WHO, because there was like giving out false numbers or whatever they were getting.
That's the Bill Gates.
Yeah, that's the Bill Gates thing. And the funny,
have y'all seen that Event 201 thing?
201.
No.
Wait, 201.
And when we're done with this, I'll put you guys on. Bill Gates created the scenario. You know how in school, when you go to school, it's like, fire drill?
Right.
He did a big pandemic drill 2 years ago in the United States. And this is all that is happening right
2017,
now.
Wow.
Right?
Event 201 here. While we're here,
Everybody's been going off on Bill Gates.
Yes. Well, the thing,
What I've seen.
and funny thing, there's this new thing popped up on Netflix the other day, and I watched it. It was called
The
Explained.
Coronavirus
Explained. Yeah, Coronavirus Explained. I watched it, bro. They were pushing that vaccine like it was nobody's business, and then they were also throwing in the bats. Like the bat shit, dude, there was like all kinds of like, the bats transfer like all these bacterias and all this shit all across the place. And it was just crazy.
the Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security, in partnership with the World Economic Forum and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, hosted Event 201, a high-level pandemic exercise on October 18, 2019 in New York.
Damn.
The exercise illustrated areas where public-private partnerships will be necessary during the response to serve a pandemic in order to diminish large-scale economic and social consequences.
Oh wow,
That's huge.
They've known about this
So it's
already.
called 201?
Yes, you know what I think this happened? Somebody in the China lab, it broke. Everybody got sick.
yeah.
Maybe. Well, because one of the stories was how somebody that worked like in Wuhan, because everyone knows that Wuhan has biological weapons.
Yeah,
Wuhan is basically like the CDC in China.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. For the world, basically.
Exactly. And then somebody left, got on, and they let them on a plane, and was like, yeah, go ahead, do your thing.
Right.
You know how many videos? Like, there's a guy that I follow. His name's Taj Tariq. He created like the Hidden Colors documentaries, which are phenomenal. And he posted a video where like people were recording like this woman who happened to be Asian at a Walmart, and she was like coughing and touching every computer that was in the section.
I've seen that.
And like just be there, and she was recording like, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing this? And his thing was like, yo, you need to keep your mind out there, because not necessarily like whether if China, we don't know if China did it or not.
That could have been a sleeper cell.
Exactly. Like
somebody
somebody
they send that over there sick in order to get everybody sick. It could happen, because at the end of the day, people, this is power games right now.
Oh, for sure.
They have, unfortunately, Donald Trump. People say he's doing a great job, but unfortunately, I don't think he's doing a great job. And a lot of other world leaders are seeing that as, this is a time where we can take over the United States of America.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
that would be insane.
I think we're not going to know until like say a year from now.
After
the good
elections.
thing,
the elections, exactly. And that's the craziest thing, that all this shit is happening
It always
in
happens.
election years.
It's
like what the fuck?
I even had somebody tell me, the Democrats, they're trying to do this so that they can have a mail-in election, a mail-in ballot, so that they don't have to do the whole voting shit, because they don't want everybody to go out and vote for Trump. I was like, you make sense, but damn, would people really go to this
that
extent?
extreme,
They would. That's where you get the whole 9/11. I mean, everyone.
That's a touchy one.
That's a touchy one because everyone and their mother's like, Patriot.
Mr. Gonzalez, yes, this is the FBI.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Big brother.
Shut the shit down.
Shut that shit down right now.
The last episode, we had a really good friend, and we kind of like were touching and stuff. And he held his phone. He's like, "Shh." He's like, "Big brother."
Yeah,
I was like, "Oh, big brother, man."
Big brother. What do you think? We're not
happen?
gonna listen to La Vega podcast?
Exactly.
We're probably climbing up the ladder.
Yeah, these guys know too much.
Yeah.
And that's true because we actually talked about the fact that if you re-listen, like, because now we're in season 2. We did 20 episodes straight out, and now we're starting season 2. This is our 23rd, and once a week, and we're slowly kind of building and doing it right.
Right.
We're not going to do things where it's like get likes and so that. No, we want to do it organically.
Genuinely,
and just let it out there. And we always found the irony of how when you listen to season 1, we talked about artificial intelligence. We talked about knowing what your pedigree is, where you come from, and
like the root.
Yeah, and like all these different things that like then out of nowhere, like boom, like all this started happening.
That's true. I didn't even think
and it
of
was
that.
trippy as fuck because people were talking about like chemtrails in the sky, and they're trying to change. I mean, these are all crazy conspiracies, but they're saying how cooling the climate, so AI, they can build AI more. And then also you start seeing more in the news about AI this, AI that.
The chip.
Yeah, microchipping.
Yep.
And those are things where we talk about, like, if you're somewhat conscious, you start seeing like, okay, I see what they're doing there, and I can potentially see what the end game is, but it can literally spiderweb and go into multiple things because the question we always ask is like, what's the end game? Yes, we've seen this going on, but what is that end game? And you started like we saw in the news how small company, like there was like a Fox News or like an ABC, like a local news somewhere, was showing how a company was microchipping their employees.
Yeah, I saw that.
Just so they can get their snacks from the snack machine.
Yeah,
or
here, get the
things
snacks
like
from the
that.
machine.
I don't need all that.
No, thank you.
it's
No,
like,
thank you. I don't need no chip in my
No,
body.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But think about, and we took a step back. We talked about it.
I'm not a
privately.
dog.
Exactly. And we talked about privately, like, all right, if you take a step back and look about how, if the scenario with Bill Gates and like what he just explained, or different things that he's trying to do, because he's got a patent on microchips.
Oh, he's got the patent on the
Well, he
corona.
got
a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do vaccines.
Right, yeah.
Like,
Hey, I do vaccines too.
Right.
Get out of here, man.
But if
It's all, bro. Oh, yeah, it's all profit.
Loaded.
But if
Loaded.
you
That's
put
what buys that
fear-
$500 million yacht.
Fuck yeah. But if you put fear in everyone's mind and everyone's
Right,
subconscious,
right,
right? Now, if you are a Fortune 500 company, you're like, hey, listen, you can't come into work unless you either get a microchip or you get the vaccine.
Right.
Because who's to say? Because remember, if you start doing research online, you start seeing they're actually trying to do nanotechnology, which are like little microbots, which is like the movie Bloodshot with Vin Diesel is about. Hey, let's get these nanobots inside. If you get something, it can fix you. Like they're super tiny, right? That potentially is like your microchip. You get vaccinated, it can have something in there. Now they can track you.
Right.
That's all it needs. They only
It's
need
like
one little thing.
But yeah, practically everybody has a microchip already.
Yeah,
Look at it right
you're
here.
walking around
Everybody has a
basically,
microchip. It's a cell phone.
You
You
saw
don't
what
need
they
to
were doing in
microchip
China,
us.
right? In China, when a lot of this was going on, they had apps that would be able to track where you are on your phone. So if you were like in groups, they would come to your house and drag you out. Like they were
I
dragging
did
people
see
out
that.
of their houses.
That's insane.
Yeah.
People were recording it and then like sending them out because they're like the internet and some of that is
They're blockers. They're
blocked.
communists.
Yeah.
They're
Well,
communist
people
country.
are able to like VPN it and get it out there. I mean, it's some wild shit.
Yeah.
There's apps now. Think about Google came out with an app. Google came out with an app where you can give it like your symptoms. Like, it has checklists. Are you this? Are you that? Are you this? And if you say yes, 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 and it might give you like, well, we suggest maybe you should go to a doctor. Doesn't matter. Who gives a shit? Because now, since you signed on your phone, you did it. They got all your
Oh,
shit.
Oh,
shit.
that you got the
Right.
symptoms
And now they know
shit.
where you
Yeah,
are.
damn, that's crazy.
So now, if they see like, okay, this person might be a potential threat or might have it.
Go get him. His
Now-
GPS says he's
Yep,
here.
he's right here.
Yo, he's
Go
that
check him
GPS,
out.
he's that Crunch
Right.
Fitness hanging
Right.
out. You know what I mean?
Put the laser on his head. Make sure he's the temperature.
Yeah.
Yeah,
My
man,
boss is
it's
using the laser.
crazy. Like,
Yeah.
He's got one.
yeah, like like I work in the construction industry, and we have to do that before we go into a job site. You know, you gotta get a temperature. All right, let's go. Like it's just
that's what's gonna happen down the clubs.
Yeah,
everybody.
That's probably
Panita, if you go to the club, the worst thing that you gotta be least worried about is the coronavirus.
That's true.
You talk about STDs.
You talk about all sorts of shit.
Yeah,
people got all sorts of shit.
That's full of. Yeah, like
Panita, some people their coronavirus, their diseases, and they're gonna get out of here. You feel me? They're antidotes from everything and all the alcohol and all the vacío de play. Get out of here.
Yep.
Corona who?
You're right.
Acolado on your chest.
Acolado, agua bendita y se acabó.
That's it.
Nombre del Padre, el Hijo y el Espíritu Santo y vamos a seguir por el pago.
This is kind of side note, but my grandmother actually used to have a crucifix that was black. It was a dagger.
Beautiful. Your grandma was a smart lady.
Yeah, she was a G.
Very smart lady. I love that woman.
You know, like Catholics, like they all just kind of.
But then I don't know if you guys seen. I know we've seen it, but have you guys seen Out of the Shadows? It's a documentary on YouTube.
That shit will blow your mind.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna go check it out.
It's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube. It's not on Netflix or anything. It's on YouTube, and like we started seeing it from like some of the social media accounts that we follow.
There was a guy like something about like spiritual. I think he was a fighter.
Oh yeah, it was a UFC fighter, I think.
And he came out and he was talked about how
it.
he knew people in the industry, knew people in celebrities, and they talked about. And he was like, "Listen,
how they were into some weird
like
shit,
satanic and
like,
child,
but it was like a big child, like pornography, and child, like all that stuff."
Fidel Castro sacrificed a child. There's an omen. There's an omen. The Santeria religion, the Ifa religion. That's a Nigerian religion that's over 3 million years old. There is an omen where a black, and I don't know if it's an omen, if I'm using the right word, but it's when a black person and a black person have an albino child. It happens every 10 million joints of black and black, where the black and black bring a white child. Well, in the Ifa religion, that's a very big sacrifice.
Yeah.
That's a very expensive, very weird. So Fidel Castro, an old man that was very sick many years ago, he went to Nigeria and he did that sacrifice, which they had saved it for him for many years because they love him in Africa. They used to love him in Africa. They still do.
Why is that?
I don't really know.
They love Fidel Castro in Africa?
They love Fidel Castro in Africa.
There's a lot of Cubans that love him too, though.
Because of the whole religion thing and everything in the whole 9 yards. And I think in a point in time in life, Fidel Castro helped Africa a lot when they were going through some issues and shit. So it is rumored that this guy went to Nigeria, did that sacrifice of that kid. That kid, it's known when they're in Nigeria and in the black religions out there in the whole 9 yards, when these two have that kid is raised as a king and when they do what they do, well, it so happened that Fidel Castro sick overlived Nicolas Maduro sick. By 40 years.
It's true.
That's crazy. Yeah,
and when that happened, now, right?
When that happened,
you don't hear much about him.
No, Maduro died.
Fidel Castro died.
He died. He died some years ago. But they held it.
Shit.
They held it. They were rumoring he's dying. No, they held it. Then after Fidel died. Then his brother Raúl, siendo maricón también, he stayed in charge. But he's a little bit not as harsh with the guys because he opened with Obama a little bit.
Yeah.
A little nicer.
Though he didn't want to shake Obama's hand, but because they have shit against the Democrats. They got shit against the Democrats because of the whole Kennedy shit.
Yeah.
They hate Democrats. So they're all pro-Trump. But they only knew that Trump was fuck y'all.
Yeah.
You feel me? So
I always used to wonder that with Kennedy, like what was kind of the reasoning behind. There's got to be things that are read between the lines that we don't know about.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
The shit always comes out every 10, 20 years.
Cuba was close to the United States at those times. So
50s,
when the whole problem with Russia, if I'm not mistaken, with the Cuban Missile Crisis, they believed that Cuba was about to start shooting missiles all the way to Florida, to all their places, because they're right there.
Right.
So since they've always had that, so Kennedy tried to do his shit and it didn't work out.
Bay of Pigs, right?
And that's why they always held it down. Oh, you Yankees, y'all tried to fuck us up. So that's why they always had that against Democrats. And they were all very Republican.
Yeah. Out of curiosity, what are your thoughts of Che Guevara?
Funny that you say that. I was actually, to be honest with you, I was talking with my boy yesterday. And I was like, oh, Che Guevara, we're talking about Che. And for some reason, I always thought he was Cuban. I never knew
Argentine.
he was Argentinian. So
No
yesterday
way.
I put on Netflix and
I
Che,
learned
and I
something
started
good.
watching.
with
I fell asleep.
Benicio del Toro.
No, not the movie, the documentary.
No, you need to watch the
Yeah.
movie, bro.
Well, I did learn some shit about El Che, but I never knew. But a lot of people praise El Che, but a lot of people don't know that El Che is responsible for a lot of murders, a lot of deaths, a lot of executions,
Yeah.
a lot of bad stuff that was done in Cuba. Even though he was a writer, a poet, whatever, a revolutionary, people really don't know the dirty shit that Che did.
Yeah,
It's
he
like
did
you
a
get
lot
the
of
good
dirty
with the
shit.
bad, or the bad with the good.
So a lot of people, when they put the Che on or they put a Che shirt or something, they really don't know what they're representing.
Right.
They say like, oh, this guy, he was an adventurer. No, yeah, he was also a murderer. He was he was right next to Fidel Castro.
Yeah.
I always wanted to, because I've read the Che Guevara book that's like super big.
Yeah, no, hardly.
One of the great movies I would highly recommend, besides the Benicio del Toro one, is called Motorcycle Diaries.
I heard about it.
And that's basically his journey when he was younger, before he became who he was.
Wow.
Him and his best friend took a trip through South America.
Argentina to Chile, from Chile to Peru to Bolivia, bro. They did
Wow.
an amazing. That's what I was looking at. Yep.
Oh, wow.
It
Yes.
was amazing. It's a really, really cool
And then the
movie.
motorcycle breaks down, and then they start hitchhiking, and that's when the real fun starts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a beautiful movie. So like for me, like if you want that full experience, you watch that, then you watch Che, which is a 2-part movie, part 1, part 2 with Benicio del Toro. Like Benicio del Toro looks like him.
Yeah, he really does. He really
he's
does.
phenomenal.
Yeah, he's a
Like,
great
He's a
actor.
good actor, yeah. I like him.
And he's Puerto Rican, so
He picked up where
Shout out,
he
sure.
picked up where Raúl Juliá left off.
Yeah.
You remember Raúl Juliá?
Yeah.
Adam's Family.
Yep.
A lot of great movies that
Oh,
he
that's
did.
right.
Street
Street
Fighter.
Fighter.
Street Fighter, yeah,
That was his
man.
last movie.
He was, yeah.
And he did that while he was sick with cancer.
Yeah.
And he
Wow.
still fucking knocked it out the park.
Yeah, yeah, he's a great actor, man. Bad loss, early time.
It's sad. Like I remember because the only reason it's funny that you brought that up, because I was reading, me being the nerd that I am, I was actually reading an article that the only reason why he did that because his kids were in love with Street Fighter.
I was in love at those times.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
Street
that was-
Fighter was everything.
Street Fighter was, besides Mortal Kombat,
Yeah, I was just gonna say
Street
that.
Fighter's like that first game that everyone lined up to pop that quarter
Yep.
to get next.
One of my first ones was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, the Ninja
You
Turtles.
go to Walmart
That
now
was
and
my
buy,
shit.
and buy the
little-
buy the arcade.
yeah.
The
Those-
arcade, they got-
those arcades are legit.
Yeah, they look
Yeah,
dope.
they
Flat
really
legit.
are. They
For
really
$200, and you can get like a
bad.
smaller version.
I want to get
put
one
that
of
shit in
those.
your garage or whatever.
Yeah.
The man
It's worth
cave.
it.
I'll be in there all day.
Yeah. Like,
No, I got the PlayStation. There's no man. There's no arcade for
That's
it. I'm waiting for that PS5 now.
Yeah.
I'm patiently waiting.
Yeah.
What's the game you're waiting for that's on it?
No, to be honest with you, I saw today they didn't say that they have it for PS5, but they said coming out on holiday 2020. The new Assassin's Creed.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
It's in the Viking times.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
The English in the England times, if I'm not mistaken, with the Crusades and all that. And all
Those
that
games
bullshit.
are crazy.
I love Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
I love
What's-
Assassin's Creed.
What I love about that game, because I only played the first few, because it's one of those
I
things
tell
that
you.
you got to have a lot of time.
Yeah, there's a lot of
You gotta
shit in
become
there.
an assassin.
Yeah.
That's true. But those stories are so legit,
Oh, yeah.
where it kind of reminisces of like the Da Vinci Code,
Yeah.
Tom Hanks movies, where it's like
Yo, the
they're
apple
kind of
with the
based off
thing,
of
yep, the
truth
spear.
and like where they get this information from. Because like I always tell him, like me being a Mason, I hear a lot of shit, I know a lot of stuff, and I'm like, wait a minute, like
Yeah, a lot
and
of
they get into
symbolism.
stuff there. When they talk about the Moors, and they like, I give them props because they do their
They
history.
know what they're talking about.
You know, if you just go on YouTube and just watch like those 20-minute videos that kind of ties them together, you're like, wow. Like
Even-
the Pirates one was off
Even
the chain.
the pirate ones was good, and the one in Spain
Yeah.
that
I
I
played
think
that
it
one,
was,
yeah.
I don't know, it was Galileo or something that they would reference a lot. It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah, those games are really well
yes,
put together.
yes, yes.
They're awesome.
But what we've been playing, FIFA lately? We've been playing
FIFA,
Call of Duty.
yeah.
We got a whole crew.
Hell
We
yeah,
got a
man.
whole crew of
Call of
people.
Duty.
Shout out to
at least, like,
everybody.
10 people almost every day.
Name
bro.
them. Name them. Lando, Henry,
Greg,
Berto,
Louis,
Greg,
Tim.
Louis. Shout out to
Are they all
everybody,
here in
man.
Atlanta?
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
most
Greg,
of them, yeah.
one of the best
There's like
wedding
one in
photographers.
Cali.
Yeah,
One's
man.
in Cali.
Oh, boy. Greg?
DJ Louis.
Yeah.
Yeah, Greg Villarreal
Yeah,
plays
yeah.
with us. DJ Louis
What's
plays
your
with
team
us.
name
We got a couple of teams. For what? For who?
for FIFA?
There's one. He got Cookie. He got Cookie FC.
We might have to.
I deleted that one actually.
We got another man that got Palo Bonito.
Because we have ALV Podcast FC.
No, we'll rock with it. We'll rock with it. And I got the Veneno fan club too.
We're all fools. So everybody talking.
Is your play on the bench? Is your play on the bench?
No. I don't play no bench.
What position do you play?
Bro, to be honest with you, I like playing the CAM one because I like being the but I'm good midfielder.
I was always good at passing, so it's one of those things. I like the cam position. You don't get as many points, but
no. I start running when I see them running. I start running with them, trying to start to get it. I'm here. Cut me. Hit me with the wine.
Good. Put your headphones on.
Bro, the headphones on. The other day, my wife was like, "Oh, if I need that 3 a.m," she's like, "You just woke up everybody. Go on!" Yes. Everybody's like, "Hey, your daughter's awake. This thing is awake. Everybody's awake. Come on, man. Come on." I'm like,
"It's true."
I'm sorry.
It was a great goal. I hit it with the head, baby. I hit it like a fish.
like a dolphin.
Like I just came out flying.
I tell people all the time, like, listen, you can play Madden all day, you can have tons of people, but there is no satisfactory when you're playing one-on-one, like online with somebody in FIFA, and you score that first goal.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you want to punch the wall. Yeah. You want to just like
they don't understand.
Yeah, they don't understand. You can score touchdowns all day.
It's a different level of excitement. Yeah, it's a different
man.
level of excitement.
But you score and if it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And if you get a fucking bicycle kick, don't even.
What's your favorite celebration?
I dab on people.
I
dab on people. So there's 2 of them. Like when you score, we dab on people. Like or then if we do the pro club, for example. If there's one of the other players that's been like an asshole or like maybe fouled somebody, if we score, we find them. We all go to cheer on them. That one, I can't stand when people do that to me. But we'll do.
They did it to us the other day. Last night we were playing and we got whooped by a whole bunch of people. Like, bro, whooped, badly whooped. Because these people, this guy even like kicked the ball out of bounds and he kicked it back from out of bounds with his own foot.
Yeah.
He hopped it. He hopped it. The hop went out of bounds. He went out of bounds and he crossed it. He crossed it to somebody in the middle of the goal. I was like, wait, shut that shit off right now.
They do that like dead fish.
They all went. That's what I do. That's my favorite one. I go running. I go running. The brick.
Yes.
I go running right next to the goalie and I fall dead right next to the goalie.
You do like a Terrell Owens and you go to center the midfield and just do it right in the center circle. That's the best, man.
That's it. That's what we're gonna start doing tonight.
I'm a little obsessed. There's a few things that I can't stand that I hope they definitely get to fix, but it's fun.
I love that 20 or
20. I have not messed with Volta yet.
Dude, Volta's fun.
I like it and I don't like it.
Yeah,
they actually had that Volta years ago in another FIFA, but it wasn't Volta. I had another name. It was like a FIFA Street.
Yeah,
I don't know if it was a FIFA Street.
That's what it was. I knew the guy who did the art for the box.
Nice, that was very cool.
Mike Thompson.
Very cool art.
Phenomenal artist. He did a lot of the art for like
NBA Street and stuff.
He did the NBA Street. Yeah, he did
NBA
Street.
I remember NBA Street.
NFL Street, NBA.
I'm a gamer.
Who's the fucking dude who had the clothing with the rhino on it?
Echo.
Mark Echo. You remember how he had those dope ass paintings of like Red Man, Method Man? Like that's who did all those.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I mean this dude's art is legit.
I've been on 2K heavy lately. Like NBA 2K.
I got my guy, but I like 2K19 better than the 20 for some reason.
Really?
I've never been a big fan of the basketball games. I don't
know.
Yeah.
He's a baseball guy.
Oh, okay.
He loves
that
baseball.
new one looks
like
crazy.
MLB,
I've been wanting to buy it, but it's still up there.
Yeah.
It's like,
I have 19.
Well, I want to get like
the
deluxe edition.
That's how I get my games. I don't like $69 games anymore. I like $99 games from now on. If you don't get the $99 game, you're not getting the game.
Digital or actually buying?
To be honest with you, the digital thing is cool because it kills the middleman, as in your wherever you want to go get a game, and it also kills your Game Stops.
That's true.
because you can't go and return that game once you buy a digital.
That's true.
It's that
I
purchase.
think it depends what the game is.
But fuck, these consoles better bring, at least a nigga like me, better bring fucking
But right,
10 terabytes.
That's true.
20 games.
That's
Because I got like 30 games, and I've the ones in cities I've lost. I got tired of this shit. Here, GameStop, get out of here.
Yeah.
Give me
But
get
what
something
I've
new.
noticed, I can have up to like 4 games, and then after the 4 games, I always have to delete like a game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
the
how
trick
mine is.
The trick is you put them in your library. Well, okay, so for example, you could purchase a game, you have to delete it. But like, for example, you know how if you have PlayStation Plus, you get a free game a month, you don't have to download
I didn't know that.
You just say, hey, put it to your
Does that
library.
mean I got 12
Oh yeah,
free
well
games?
the good thing is, if you download it online and if you delete it, it'll stay.
Oh, your library, yeah.
Then you can
Yeah.
just go to it and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
just
yeah.
download
Exactly,
it
and it
again.
downloads faster.
Yeah.
It's weird, because when you go to the PlayStation Plus, it'll tell you first, you want to put this in your library? You go, yeah, and then it'll ask you, do you want to download it? But if you just leave it in your library, you don't have to worry about taking up space.
Right.
And then when that time comes, you download it if you want to play it, and it's quicker.
You guys want tacos?
Oh, yeah.
Epa.
Heck yeah.
Pass them up.
Nice.
Wow, here you go, Cal.
Do a shout out.
Yeah.
Damn, enjoy.
A little
Buen
intermission.
provecho.
Yep, intermission. Yeah.
So we're right off of Windy Hill.
Mm-hmm.
There used to be a Puerto Rican restaurant called Buen Provecho.
Oh, yeah, I know.
So he left.
Yeah,
He moved
to
to
Florida.
Florida.
Because his
Right.
son and the basketball or the sports.
And him and I were actually really good friends. Like I've known him for a while. I was like one of his first 5 customers.
Oh, wow.
And like we just kicked it off ever since. And I helped him with like graphic design, things like that. But another guy who's based out of Miami, right, took over that area and like remodeled the whole thing.
Damn, I gotta go.
It has a bar. I mean, it's legit, and it's called Jimmy's Kitchen. We actually we want to have him come on. I've talked to his wife. Him and his wife are the owners.
And it's Puerto Rican food too.
So it's called Nuevo Latino. He's Puerto Rican, but the concept is that he cooks everything.
Okay.
So it has like,
Little bit
Brazilian
of
flavor,
everything.
Argentina,
Ooh.
Mexico, Puerto Rico. So like,
that's
there's not that
dope.
many places you can find,
Right.
mofongo.
Yeah.
And he does like shrimp mofongo with phenomenal like criollo sauce. I mean, you name it.
Oh, my God.
You know. And we go there. We've been there a couple of times because it's not that far, and it's legit. I mean, he's a really good guy, older guy. Has a crazy story. Started from the bottom. He was like a dishwasher, and he made his way up to be like a sous chef and open his own spots in Miami.
Wow.
And, basically retirement.
That way, we got Miami. I gotta know. I gotta see who the guy is. Lamb, rams, yams, and hams. Oh, that, yeah. I was telling them that I was telling them about my door. That I saw the door, and that what he told me that if I actually entered the door, that I was gonna meet an entity.
Every person that does DMT,
Wow.
did he say yeah?
No, I don't know. He's probably checking his babies.
So every person that does DMT, like for example, we listen to Joe Rogan's podcast a lot, and Joe Rogan is kind of one of our inspirations to doing this, and he talks about the different times he's done DMT, and like for example, he did there's a documentary you can find called the Miracle Molecule, where he's hosting it, and every person didn't know each other, and they had the same experience where a light force, like an energy being would like hold their hand and like explain to them, hey, this is that,
Wow.
and give them like all this information. Like
That's
people
crazy.
like, hey, this one guy was like, I left my body, and it looked like I was in this like other city of like light, and I had like buildings of light and all that sort of stuff, and they would see me. They're like, hey, come here. But they don't have to say anything because they can talk telepathically.
It opens you up. Está bien cabrón, because your brain is very powerful.
For
The
sure.
human brain is very powerful.
Super.
No, I had a good time with my
I had a great time on my DMT last time.
Does he live here?
He lives in Miami. I did it. When I did it in the DoubleTree Grand, looking the ocean on a 30-something floor. I with the 12 o'clock at noon. When I was laying down and I was on my trip. When I got up, then I looked at my shaman like that. My shaman wasn't exposed. I saw 5 of my shamans going, and I saw the blue and yellow aura on my shaman. He had like a bluish, and then it turned to yellow aura. I was like, oh, God bless you. I went back.
Have you ever looked up what the auras mean? Because every aura means a different color.
I know they do mean a different colors, but I didn't check on that aura.
We started ours at. We got there at 6, started at 7, and then we didn't wake up till 6 in the morning. But you were pretty much up.
And what about your purge? And what about the purge with the frog thing?
Oh, that's crazy.
Yo, he did.
Huh?
Yeah, I've done some research on ayahuasca, and but they always say before you try ayahuasca, test the waters with DMT.
Yeah.
You know, because they're like, it's a shorter trip. Like, it kind of gives you the same, thing, the same kind of trip, but it's, like with ayahuasca, you do the whole purging and shit at the end, and it's like,
you're
releasing all the bad shit and everything.
Yeah.
You go through every.
They say that you vomit colors that you never thought that you ever had inside of your body.
Well, everyone's different. So,
it hits everybody a different way, or.
Yeah, I'll give you an example. So, like what I explained to him, me being a Mason, and how we dang, that's
that was you?
You can have it if you want. I got another one. We did it as a Masonic ritual, right? So there was only 1, 2, 3. There was only 5 of us. So most of the time when you go to ayahuasca, there might be like 10, 15 people deep, where you're like this close to people laying down. I don't think I would like that. Yeah. I like that we were spaced out. One was in one
social distance. He practiced social distance
like a motherfucker in Puerto Rico. And this guy's house is like on top of the mountains.
Nice.
Like when you go now, you could probably use Waze and get to places. Yeah. But if you're not following somebody, you're gonna be asked out.
Yeah.
Like the Google Maps not gonna pick it up. It's one of those. It's one of those compost type deals. Mm-hmm. But his house is massive. Like how we have the creek, he has like all this wilderness land.
That's
so sometimes he does it outside too. But it was raining, so we couldn't really mess with it. Anyway, we started off, and they tell you, he tells you, for basically 24 hours, don't eat anything, just water, right? So the only thing you would literally be hitting your system is the ayahuasca. And so, we get there. I didn't know what to expect, but I've heard from other people, because there's people there that do it 4 times a year, so they're kind of used to it. And that's what I was saying. One of the guys can literally be in the middle of it and go to the bathroom, take a piss, come back, and then and be okay.
Keep tripping again.
Yeah, but me, it was a different story because it was my first time. Anyway, once I took it on an empty stomach and the cigar blown and I sat back down, I would say within minutes, 2 minutes or not, I was sitting in a lotus type pose, hands here, eyes wide open, and I started smiling, and then all of a sudden, geometric shapes.
Yep. I start smiling and laughing, and life is great.
Because that's what happens. It's colors first.
Oh my!
Right? It's always vibrant. But then, the world is all about frequencies, right? What was the interesting experience with me was that everything was in tune, right? So that person would cough, this person would burp. This person started instantly throwing up, but everything sounded beautiful. It was like Mozart. It's hard to explain, right? Yeah. And then all of a sudden the geometric shapes started coming together, and next thing you know, it turned into a massive African elephant. And the ears were doing this.
That's crazy.
And then ironically, afterwards, I told the shaman, I was like, I saw this animal. He was like, what was it? He's like, it was an elephant. He said that. He's like, that's my totem. So it's basically that connection of knowing that he's in the room and his quote unquote spirit animal is watching over me within that time. So it started with that, and then it was more of those, I need to just lay down. So I lay down on the mat, and you close your eyes, and it's just like if your eyes are open. Because when my eyes were open, I would close them and I would open them, I'll still see the exact same shit. It didn't matter.
That's wild.
Because that's the separation. And then it's like you hear this beautiful, angelic woman kind of in your mindset. Because, I've sent him videos where people talk about, if you close your eyes right now, right, and you say the word monster energy, right? You will hear your own voice, and you will actually hear yourself say it, but you never said it. So who are you talking to? That's your inner consciousness, right? And that's the same thing, but it's someone else next to you talking to you. It's that nature, and I'm like, oh, I want to throw up. I'm like, no, not yet. It's not your time yet. And you'll feel like this warmth. It starts from your first chakra, which is, basically your groin, stomach, solar plex, chest. And it starts going up, and all of a sudden, and they kind of warned me. The other guys like, hey, you're gonna feel this pressure in your head, like your head feels like it's about to explode. And all of a sudden, it's gonna pop. And once it pops, you're able to step in and step out, come back to reality, come out, and et cetera, et cetera. And that's exactly what happened. Where I would lay down, close my eyes, and I would see all this stuff. But there was good and there was bad, because you have to go through everything. Because we live within our egos.
Right.
And when you're in that scenario, your ego's gone. And I remember it was like Groundhog's Day, but only a 2-minute span cycling. That I would get up, like, oh, I need to get back down, and I would fall. Oh, I would get up, fall. And then they told me at the end that I actually got up and I almost hit my head on the wall because I fell over, and they kind of made sure. I pissed on myself. We all wore white. I pissed on myself. They even said, they were like, oh, I'm thinking in my head, I need to go to the bathroom. And that voice was like, go ahead. Like, who cares? Because everyone is like equal, kind of,
Right.
And I'm just like, I smelled like piss when I woke up. And then when I got to the purge part, they were like, it's time. Because the purge is releasing all, it could be anything, negative, whatever's kind of inside you, that bile type stuff, to let you really go into your journey. And I remember when I did that, it was black, like jet black boiling in the bucket, because there's a bucket.
Yeah,
and I
you have to
remember
do it in a
doing
bucket.
Yeah, because you're just not going to just do it on the floor, so you do it in the bucket. And it was bubbling, it was putrid. I remember when I was doing it, my face was like contorting, and I was just letting all this that was inside me, this negative that was built up from my childhood and everything, just out. And you could feel that they don't want to leave, but no, this stuff that's inside you is like, no, get the fuck out.
That takes your demons out.
It's like, get out. And it was cool. Then there was a good section. I had no control or anything. I was just like, I need to just ride it, and then whatever happens. Then I was sitting up, and I heard this most beautiful angelic voice singing. It sounded like if I was in an opera, concert hall, and I was crying. And the next morning, we were all kind of talking about our experiences, and I told the shaman, before I even told the shaman that, he's like, hey, check this out real quick. And he took me to his computer, which he has a room, and there's these doors that open. And he always keeps them closed because he keeps the energy inside, and then when it's out, when everyone's done, he opens it to let the energy out. So we went to the computer, and he played me this woman by the name of Loreen, Loreen. I'll never forget it because I have every one of her albums now. Right, and he played me one of her YouTube, because they have American Idol in Sweden, and everyone's all like Britney Spears looking, and she was black hair. She looked a witch.
Morticia.
Yeah, and she won. But then when I heard her voice, I was like, yo, I heard her last night. And he told me that he plays it all the time because he likes her music, and because he has the doors open, the frequency. He's like, you tap into the frequency of the song playing, and you heard it. And I remember the ride home, I downloaded it on my phone and I listened to it the whole way so I can kind of remember it. Yeah. But some of the guys were talking about how the one guy next to me, I was sleeping like this. And he's like, I turned over. That was the kind of concept of how we were doing a Masonic ritual. Every single one of us were synced together. So the guy turned and looked at me, he's like, yeah, I was sleeping like this. He's like, I saw you in a pharaoh sarcophagus. He's like, when I would turn over, you were in this beautiful gold pharaoh sarcophagus, and you were like this, in there, right? And then the guy next to me was saying that he, within his time, outer body experience, and was flying over the pyramids of Egypt, and he could see them in daytime, because obviously it's night, it's day there, right? No one could see him, but he flew over. And remember how I was saying that he was slithering? Yeah. He said the reason why, and I asked him, I was like, yo, when I saw you were doing this thing, he's like, yeah. He's like, there was one point where I kind of quote unquote woke up, and there was like 5 reptilians in front of me, reptilian aliens, and they were talking to me telepathically, and one of them went inside me. Not being benevolent, like not being bad, but to talk to him, to communicate. And that's why he looked like a snake, because the reptilian was in him. The other guy, without even me saying it, was like, yeah, he's like, I was laying down and like my stomach was expanding really wide and coming back. Like if I had something inside me that was trying to get out. And I was like, I saw your stomach doing that. You know, and like each one of us had some sort of connection. And it was, it's one of those things that you'll never forget.
Wow.
You'll never forget. You know, so when you started talking about yours, like, I'm really curious in that, because that, like, to me, it's a different type of experience, because DMT is inside your, when you sleep, it secretes DMT, right? And there's a lot of plants that's what they do. They secrete DMT. It's a natural, you know, it's part of nature, and it's part of what.
Yeah, it's not like you're taking no crazy ass mixture, LSD or
no.
DMT is natural.
Yep. Yeah. As natural as you can get.
It's in your brain.
So for people to know, like, what was your experience like, if you don't mind talking about it?
My experience with DMT was amazing. My first couple of ones were more like life-centering. Yeah,
How many have you
I've done like 3-4 times. But one of the ways, my boy has it in a pen cartridge, and that's more of a lighter one. That's more of a, let me laugh for a bit, let me, you know. But then when I really hit the real one, the first couple of times, I centered myself. I saw my problems inside of me. It's like a very good psychiatrist, to be honest with you. But the last one was actually pretty cool, because I did the yoga, I did the aligning of the chakras, and then after that I went to take the medicine. When I took the medicine, I went in the spheres and the octagons and everything with my eyes closed. And then I reached to this point where I see this door. It's not even a door, that's a full door from the ground up. It's a door that it's a wall, and then there's like a little square door in the middle. And that door for me was, if I opened that door and I went in that door, I went into the trip without me being able to control it. But I was actually inside my own head, in the DMT, controlling everything, seeing everything, looking at everything. When I got to that door, I looked around and I saw that everything that was around, and it gave me more of a control to me. But next time, like I said, I'm gonna go in that door, and like you said earlier, I might be able to see somebody or meet an entity that's waiting for me there. It's just that I guess life or the ways or the forces or everything prepared me to see that first before I went all the way inside the door and got all crazy and what the hell am I doing?
Yeah. It's preparation.
Yeah, actually, to be honest, I think my boy said he saw Bob Marley.
Wow.
And not too long ago, a couple of months ago, we're very fans of Bob Marley. Very big fans. Sounds super cliche, but it's yeah, it does. It sounds super cliche. A lot of people, jamming. No, Bob Marley has a lot more music and a lot more shit behind jamming and all that stuff. And there's actually a very good documentary called "Who Shot the Sheriff" on Netflix, which it actually explains how Bob Marley was used for the political purposes and how he felt that he was betraying his people and how he got used. That's why he went to London, and that's where he recorded Exodus outside from his home. He didn't want to record it. He didn't want to go to London because he's a Rastafari from Jamaica, came chanced down to Babylon, and he didn't want to leave his homeland. But he was forced to leave his homeland because he felt he betrayed his people with the whole political shit that was happening in the whole 9 yards.
The CIA was part of it too.
To be honest with you, that's where we were going. It was his grandson, which is son of Stephen Marley. His name is Johan, my man Trippy, which was here on the phone right now and everything. And it was my man Josh, my man Trippy, and me, and Johan and his cousin, which is also another Marley. And we were there chiefing and smoking, and all of a sudden at 12 o'clock at night, that boy's voice changed. And he said, "Brethren, Ras did not die of no cancer. Ras died of a CIA. There was a needle in his foot. There was a needle in his shoe.
Oh, wow.
When you go to put his shoe, and that's where everything started." His voice changed right back after that. That's we all like that. I think your grandfather just came down and told us that.
Right.
Again, Big Brother's watching. but yeah. So
That's crazy.
not super cliche, but us in Puerto Rico, back in the day, we had some times where we were very reggae influenced. We had Alpha Blondie come, we had Ziggy Marley that I saw live. We had even our own band that spawned out of Puerto Rico called Cultura Profética.
Wait, I think I know them.
Te extraigo el fruto de la madre tierra. Yeah,
Liz loves them.
I love them. And I like actually more their old music than their new music.
Damn.
That's crazy. And that's funny because, like, you know, the whole documentary that I was talking about, Out of the Shadows, they talk about the CIA involvement with, like, Disney.
Everything.
Like how they helped Disney buy all that swampland down in Florida and all this other shit. Yeah, like, it is y'all need to watch that shit. That shit,
I'm gonna buy it.
It gets deep
it's
into,
free.
like, a lot.
I'm gonna check it out. Sorry, man.
It gets deep into a lot of shit that you're like, what the fuck? They talk about, like, Pizzagate and
Have you heard about
all
that?
this shit.
Are you serious?
You've never heard of Pizzagate?
So you know WikiLeaks, right?
Yeah, I've heard of WikiLeaks.
Yeah, so when Julian Assange's crew did their big leak like a couple of years ago, one of the things that they started doing, because the way they do it is that they get like you, me, him, and they'll have everyone read the stuff and we kind of put things together. One of the things they started realizing in a lot of these emails, right, that a lot of them were talking about like pizza this, pizza that, like, oh, you know, I want pizza that has this on it. Or, you know, when we go to the White House today, are there going to be pizza there? You know, like, oh yeah, let me get a pizza for like, you know, an hour.
Yeah.
And they were code words.
Yeah.
And so they talked about how there was actually a woman who got chastised for it, that she came out, that she was a reporter, a journalist, was like, yeah, there's a lot of pedophilia, like in the black web, the dark web, that they use a lot of these terms.
Especially pizza referring to children.
Yep. Like if you want extra cheese.
So is that what Corey Feldman wanted to expose and he got silenced?
Yep.
Oh wow.
Because you think about how massive Elijah Wood did that. Elijah Wood was your boy from the Lord of the Rings that played Frodo. Like when he was one of those young actors too, and his parents would take him to like these parties, and he came out in public and was like, yeah, like there's some weird shit going on, you know. There's been stuff in the news where there was this one girl that was in Smallville, blonde-haired girl, was one of the actresses, and her boyfriend would find like these girls in other countries and they would brand them and they become like sex slaves. They got arrested. They got arrested in Mexico. They tried to flee to Mexico and they got them and brought them back. So like you start seeing a lot of these things going on. Tom Hanks was one of them that was really big because in the video,
he comes out in the video.
comes out in the video like what's his name, Ricky Gervais, the comedian from England, was doing like the scat. I forgot what awards.
The Golden Globes.
Yeah,
I think
he was like the host, and he made
some
jokes, a cringe
like,
joke.
Yeah,
and
there's
you
people
could see
laughing. Like people just like
you could see the ones that were laughing and the ones that weren't laughing. You could tell like they were probably
like, you know, they had
guilty.
They know some shit. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And
like that joke didn't sit well.
And I would say every big from Obama to what are some like
they tied
Biden
into the whole Epstein thing. How he had that island and all these.
Yeah,
like,
which he didn't kill himself. He didn't kill himself.
Bill Clinton has been to the island 26 times.
Yeah.
Bro, Bill Clinton, hello. Are we talking about Bill?
Yeah.
How we talking about Bill?
Right.
Let's talk about it.
We talking about Bill? Cigar Bill? Cigar Cohiba Bill? Okay.
But they tied it into like, you know, the whole Epstein thing, how he had this island like, you know, where he would just bring, you know,
I heard about that shit.
pedophilia shit. He had like all his like artwork and stuff was like revolving around pedophilia and shit like that.
He had
like,
statues. He had
like a painting, like this creepy ass painting with little kids like in their underwear, just like beat up and like like some
tied
sick
up like
shit.
this.
Yeah.
So the painting was basically them. Like there's a wall. They're like, oh shit, what's that there? And they're like this, and they're looking back.
Yeah.
In underwear, but they were in the deep end of a pool.
Yeah.
Of an empty pool.
So it was like this mosaic, like white, like tile looking thing.
You
like
could
in
tell
the
it looked like a
background.
pool.
Like it was
Weird,
just some creepy shit.
It was one of those things where it literally looked like somebody who took a photo of it, that it actually happened, and they made a painting. But there was a lot of like news that came out during that time when they raided the house, where like these people were interviewed like on TV and like Vogue magazine about their paintings and how they're eccentric and different. I'm like, no, these are little kids. And you have
pedophilia type
statues.
shit. Yeah, and then it's like they go into how, you know, all these politicians know about it because they all used to hang out with fucking Epstein and shit like that. Bill Gates, Epstein, fucking, you had like,
Bill Clinton.
you had elites,
Bill.
like top.
Bill.
You talk about top of the.
Bill, he didn't like that shit. He didn't like that type of shit. Come
you
on,
had like
man.
the creme of the creme. Like,
Bill never knew Monica Lewinsky, brother. Please.
Right.
Come on, man.
Because one of the biggest things that they were talking about was how they would have these people just like Epstein, that their objective, their goal is like, let's do this so we have blackmail, capabilities. That's the whole objective. So it's like that 1% of the 1% would hire me to like, and fund, give them money. Like, hey, yeah, we got all this stuff. And then like, if you're a politician, like come check out, hang with us. But now we have video, we have photos, we have all this proof of you doing it.
Right.
So if you don't do what we want.
Exactly.
So
So
like
if you ever do
blackmail.
something, we can blackmail you. If not, that shit's going out. Because
That's why I don't think he's dead either. I'm like, Epstein ain't dead.
Yes, bro.
He's working with the feds.
Bro, that guy is
they
in
got him on witness protection.
yeah.
somewhere.
super witness protection program.
Yeah,
that guy has
hard.
new hair.
Hard.
That guy has new teeth.
Yep.
He has
A
new
new
eyes.
face.
He has
Face
new eyes. He got Botox all over the face now.
Yeah,
He's another
like,
brand new man living
yeah,
probably in the
bro,
island, island with a house. That's where he's at right there, man.
because the
Come
big
on, man.
rumor is that supposedly there's, a big
By
sting
next year.
operation going down where they're gonna bring top like elite people down and jail them for this shit. But
I was waiting.
Which
Yeah.
will crush everything. The
Yeah,
economy, you name it.
which you're talking about major names who have their hands on a lot of businesses, a lot of like, big things, and that could impact the economy like big time.
Yeah,
So
it's
it's
scary.
like it's
It's
More than
crazy.
what's being impacted right now.
Yeah,
Well,
definitely.
Wow.
this is more of
Because you're
a
talking
test.
elite players, like you're talking like
You
creme of the
imagine,
creme.
Bill Gates going down for some shit like this?
Exactly. Imagine that.
or like
That's
Oprah.
some
or
Oprah.
something else,
Biden.
huh?
Or
Why?
yeah.
Listen, Biden's a
Biden
little
is-
creepy.
yeah.
He's a little creepy.
He's
Oh,
crazy.
yeah, there's a bunch of things on here.
Yeah, there's
creepy.
a lot of
Did
cringe
you see some
shit
of those
on Biden.
videos where like he would hold the
kid,
girl?
the little
Yeah,
girls,
man.
yeah.
It's a little creepy.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
Oh, too much with the hugs.
Yeah,
and
Yeah,
yeah.
little fond. He's a fondler.
Yep.
He's a
A
little
little too
frisky.
much.
He's a cop.
Yep.
He wants to be a cop. Wants to frisk everybody.
Yeah, and that's
Say what you have in there.
Right, exactly.
Is that a cell phone?
Yeah.
that's one of the things we talk about, like with Trump, where it's like
He ain't saying either.
he was. Well, I don't know. We go back and forth. Where like he might have liked young women, but not to the extent like some of these other people.
Yeah.
But
What are you
he's
talking
one of those. He's one of those people that I don't think they were expecting him to win.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think it was one of those wild cards that came through, and like even Trump was shocked.
Yeah.
Because obviously you look at the plans. If Hillary became
Right.
president, I think it would be a lot crazier experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, but at the end of the day, he didn't. Trump never won because of the people. He won because of the electoral vote.
Right, exactly.
So that's why I said that was like you say. They put him in.
Yeah.
They put him
Yeah,
there.
he was put there. And I just think like it's crazy too now how a couple of days ago, I don't know if you guys saw, they released like these UFO footages that the Pentagon
I did
that
see
the
that.
Pentagon declassified, and now there's like video footage of
I
actual,
wonder that's why they want us home at night.
Why do you think? What do you
I
mean?
don't know. You imagine some type of invasion at night while there's a fucking 70,000 people at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. That's why we're gonna really have to account for 70,000 losses in one hit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, why are they putting out all this little
Or even
shit out there?
Iran.
Yeah,
Maybe they're all hiding us because they don't want Iran to retaliate for what the fuck we just did to their main guy.
You know? Like, hey, everyone stay home because
Everyone
if
stay
they bomb,
home. We already know what they
they're
did
not
to
there.
9/11. You know what it
That's
is.
true.
You know what it is. Some shit like that, a sleeper cell or some shit like that. Look, you said we had a Chinese lady coughing and touching everything.
right. Yep.
Anybody can come in like they did in the Oklahoma with a bus full of
Yep.
fucking loaded everything and bam, boom, boom, boom.
Yep.
It's true. Have you watched Waco yet on Netflix?
No, but
That
I was
shit's
alive.
crazy.
I was alive at those times,
That
so I
shit
do
was
remember
crazy.
a lot of that.
That
I was alive and young and
That's for sure.
and knowledgeable. I remember watching when they breached into the house and they fucked everything
Yeah,
up.
like
I remember.
that whole series is crazy because
Yeah, check it out.
you
Yeah, I
see
gotta go.
how one person can get into the mind
Yeah.
of many people, make them believe what you believe, just by kind of relating to them in
Fidel
such
Castro
a
did it in
small
the
way.
60s.
Exactly. And then just, you know,
Castro lied
and-
that he was going to overthrow Batista and the regime and
Yeah,
the
like-
communism, and he just came in with more communism.
Well, it's like Hitler.
And the crazy part is that, you know, the people know, like, you know, he invited anybody. Anybody was free to come, free to go from the place. But then he kind of gave you that, like, guilt trip if you did, you know, kind of like playing it like that. And the crazy part is, you know, when the cops, you know, fucked up, they started shooting first at Waco.
Yeah.
And, you know, that video all of a sudden disappeared. You know what I mean? Yeah, the cops were in the wrong, but these people were like, no,
Yeah,
we're not
they were
leaving.
gonna die. They were gonna
But
die
they were
for
like,
that guy.
exactly. They were like, you know, we're not gonna leave
For their savior.
Exactly. Like this is the guy. Like he's gonna save us. Like he talked about this. Like he said this was coming, and you know we believe in him. And like they would tell the cops, like we're not held hostage, because the cops were like, you know, bring out some people. Let us have some people. And he's like, the people are here on their own free will. They're not being held hostage. You know what I mean?
What was it that they
And
were
it was
actually doing wrong?
crazy.
Was it because they were selling?
They were selling, or they were modifying weapons, like, and they were selling them. So they were modifying semi-automatic, like AK-47s, and making them fully automatic.
Of course, ATF wanted to.
So
piece
yes,
that.
so they were the first ones to kind of
And
like
they probably found all
start
these
the
people
whole
are loaded in there
Yeah.
and everything, kill everybody in there. That's probably what happened.
And that's
Like,
exactly
it looked
what
like it was an
happened.
accident.
Yeah.
Everybody down.
Because they threw tear gas in there that
Uh-huh.
they weren't supposed to, and then, you know, tear gas is incendiary, so it caused a fire, and then everything started burning down.
And everything was
And
man-made.
it was
Like they built all that shit
Yeah,
themselves.
like it's a good ass fucking series.
Yeah, I
But you
remember
just
that
see
shit.
it and you're like, wow, like it's crazy how, like, you know, just by interacting with people and kind of like getting to know them a little bit and kind of tapping into their weaknesses and you kind of relating to that, how you can get them to kind of like, you know, come to your side and start seeing things how
Yeah, like you
you
said,
see it.
Hitler,
Yeah,
Castro.
like Hitler, like big guys.
They've
like,
all
yeah.
done. They've all used that tactic.
Yeah,
You would say that it's happening now too,
I
to
don't
an
know.
extent. I mean, you think about
to
within
an
the
extent
first
with the
4
with the
years.
media,
Yeah, I
I
think
could
so.
see it.
Because you think within the first 4 years of Trump, you know, whether somebody believes or not, a lot of the influence that he has had
major.
people kind of come out their shells and
Oh,
be
yeah,
able to be
for
like,
sure.
you know what, fuck you, and
Yep.
curse you out and thinking it's okay.
Yep.
But not realizing that in this day and age, if you try to say a word or a phrase or something to somebody else, you're going to get your ass kicked.
Yeah.
There's
You
some
know.
crazy people out there, man, nowadays.
Yeah.
You don't know who.
They
You know.
have no boundaries.
And now, and like we talked about in the beginning of the podcast, the idea of now you have social media, now you have people with cell
Yeah.
phones that record more of the things that you see, like police officers do, things like that come out more now.
Look, they even caught a police officer the other day stopping a kid in California, 14-year-old. The guy beat the shit out of this kid because
Oh,
he
I
had a
saw that
swisher. But what
Yep.
the fuck?
Yep.
The fuck?
Yeah.
It's overkill.
It
It's
is.
definitely overkill.
It is. That's why I feel like, you know, all this happening now is just, you know, and with social media, it could be good, it could be bad.
That's the problem with
But
social media.
Yeah.
The problem with the media in general is that it's a tool. You know what I mean? And if you
Right.
use it in the way that it's not intended to be used, it can cause a lot of harm. And but if you use it for the right reasons, for the, you know, for the better of, like, you know, your community or whatever
Amen to
the case
that,
may
man.
be, then, you know, it can bring a lot of good also. So it all
A lot of
it's-
awareness
It,
to
yeah,
get
it just all depends, man.
So the media's there and the news is there too, but also the part of the news's job is to hype
Oh, for
hype
sure.
stuff up so that people,
Oh,
you
Right,
know,
everything is about how
like you
many
say, the
views,
ticker,
how many
the ticker,
clicks.
the death ticker.
Yep.
You know,
That's crazy.
keep everybody locked. How many
That's why
people-
the
how many people
titles
died.
and everything is
Oh my
supposed to
God.
be something that wants to get
Yeah,
everybody to
catchy.
click. You know,
Or clickbait.
Clickbait,
Right.
yeah.
I remember, I'll never forget watching a video that was online where this one guy, and they talked about it in the documentary, which is ironic, that this one like younger guy went up to Anderson Cooper, like in a hotel, and he would ask him a question, but then he would flip him and tell him, he's like, "Aren't you part of the CIA program, which is like Project Mockingbird, I think, or something like Project Mockingbird?" And the whole concept is they would hire people like, you know, everyday people, but they're really CIA
agents,
operatives,
and they work for the media.
Yeah, and they work in the media.
Oh,
so they put all this shit
Yeah,
out.
claro.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh yeah, he's like,
That's what happened. That's what's happening right now.
yeah.
So they're able to push their agenda.
The government is pushing the media for their own agenda.
Yep,
All
exactly. So I mean, it's the information is out there. I just feel like people are scared to look into it, and I feel like, you know, the media itself kind of blocks people from doing so.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Based on fear,
And
because you know, like
censorship.
we've said, fear. You can control anyone through fear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You put fear into somebody, you can maneuver them however the fuck you
break
want.
them down.
We all sheltered in place
Exactly.
for 5 weeks
Exactly.
because of fear.
So
Of getting sick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been
Almost
2
a
months
month and a half.
almost.
yeah.
man.
So I mean,
Yeah, that's it. I'm done. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Ready to go back.
Yeah, it's a different mental mindset.
for
You know?
sure.
Whether you're stuck with somebody that you love or just in general, you know, you're cooped up. And if
Right.
you think about psychologically throughout your life, from when you're born, when you go to school, you're literally programmed to wake up, get on a bus, go to school,
Right.
come back home. It's the same thing like work.
Yeah, yeah.
And then when you get older, you do the exact same thing.
Like you're just on a program.
Yeah, you're just
on a routine.
on a-
And it's like somebody
on
hit
a
that stop
cycle.
button.
Yeah.
You know, somebody hit that stop button on a conveyor belt. And you're like, shit. What
Now
do you
all shit breaks loose.
do? That's
because-
why they say that the majority of like CEOs, like people who are like older people who are in power, and when they retire, they die within the next few years because they don't know what the hell to do with themselves.
Right.
You know, it's the same type of
Like
scenario
all
Yeah,
they've
that's-
done is just work.
Yeah,
Right.
at a very high level.
Yeah.
And now you're telling them, hey, you know, good job. Here's
Right.
a watch, and go live your life. And you're like, I don't know what that is.
Right.
There's
Exactly.
a watch.
Yeah.
Take it for 40 years.
Yeah, and
There's a watch.
that's why they're saying now that it's really important that now we take the time and, you know, get in touch with nature, get in touch with who we really are, what our purpose is, that it's not just going to work, coming home, going to
Yeah,
work,
yeah.
coming home. You know, there's more to life than just that.
At least this has helped with that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's been
So,
cleaner.
yeah.
Open
world
up
is
people's
cleaner.
eyes.
Yeah,
The
for
world is
sure.
cleaner. The world is getting cleaner. The emissions have been less these past 2 months.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
say
yeah.
that the hole in the ozone layer is heating up.
Yeah,
They said in India that you can actually see the Himalayas for the first time in 30 years, if
That's
I'm not
insane.
mistaken. That
Which
is,
is
those are
insane.
those
There's
are
a
amazing
moment
news.
right now that is like it don't even matter if you have money
no,
or you don't.
nope.
Yeah,
Everyone's
That's like,
almost
everybody's the
we
same.
all
Yeah.
we can all do the same thing.
Exactly.
You know,
Yep.
Everybody's
That's
getting
true.
hit the
That-
same.
That's
That-
the biggest thing.
One of the last things, like I said, I was going to touch on before, that I just saw was that there was a staunch Republican from Texas that put out a video, and he's a farmer. And one of the things he was saying, we kind of talked about it outside. One of the things that he was saying was how they're starting to regulate more now to almost like a depopulation. When we were talking about like meat and some of that, he came out. He was like, "Listen," he's like, "I have cattle. I have this. They're telling us to basically dump all of our milk, you know, kills our cattle, things like that, so it cannot be sent out." And he was kind of explaining why, which was a big deal. And he didn't know why, and he was like, there's something bad happening." And then come to find out, he also explained towards the end that the United States is now shipping meat from like Namibia of Africa to the United States, and that's what they're going to be, a lot of times they're going to be selling. So you're seeing like this transition. But when you think about it, when you're getting it from whether it's a third world country or from another country, there's less regulations. So I was talking to Liz about that. I was like, well, if you're trying to harm people in a mass way, and if you talk about the United
Taint their
States
food.
The food, yeah.
Taint their
The
food.
take their
source.
food, you eat it. And now everyone
Yeah,
can
because
get
it's coming with no
someone
regular, coming from a place with less regulations and less type of, you know, how we treat how we handle our food.
The United
Crazy
States
times.
eats the most meat out of most countries in the world.
I believe it.
I can believe it. Yeah.
Because China has 1 billion people.
And they bats.
Yeah, but they eat everything.
No, yeah, they eat literally everything.
But there's also
yeah,
reasons
they eat
behind it too,
everything.
because they have no choice, and they've been doing that for thousands and thousands of years. Us, we've only been around for like what 600
Right.
years or so,
Right.
and the consumption is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's
where
insane.
Brazil has a whole area that's nothing
Huge.
but
Right.
cattle.
Yeah.
Puerto Rico has that.
Yeah.
Puerto Rico has a spot that has more cows than it does people.
Damn, that's crazy.
You know, and if you wanna fuck somebody up, that's why they're
Fuck
like,
with
hey,
their food.
eat
Yeah,
your
for
ginger,
sure.
you know,
Yeah,
drink more juice,
plant-based.
you know, more
Yeah.
plant-based stuff,
Yeah.
and this is that opportunity where I can see more people doing that. You know,
Now, this is the
Hands
time.
down.
This is the time.
well,
Like sometimes you go into the stores and you see the dairy, the vegetarians, all the vegetables there, but nobody's touching them.
exactly, and that's the
It's
shit
that
you
time.
should be. Because they might have a
So it
short
is.
shelf life, but every single one of those is gonna give you something that you need.
Yeah, for your immune system.
And they're harder to taint.
Yep. Like when you go to you go to Sam's Club and all the bullshit, all the microwavable bullshit is
Gone.
all gone.
I like that.
Then, yeah, but
I like that better.
Oh,
I've been
yeah,
coo-
because-
I've been this quarantine has helped me to become a better cook. Better
Yeah, that's true too. Because then you can go get the mixed nuts that are organic and all that are there. Like, oh, just give me all that shit.
That's what I want.
You know, give me all that. All right. So on that note, we can end it.
Appreciate you guys
Yeah,
for coming
definitely.
through.
Thank you guys for another
Thank you.
opportunity. I love this.
Looking forward to bringing you guys back soon.
And
Sure, thank you.
So tell everyone where they can find you,
go ahead, Cam.
right? And
You're
you know
no here.
what you got coming in the future that you would want people to kind of know about. You know, a little bit more about you.
Yeah, well, everybody can follow me on Instagram at DJ CANO ATL. The same thing goes on my Facebook and all that. All my social media is pretty much DJ CANO ATL.
Yeah.
And yeah, just looking forward to the future, everything to open back up, so we can keep on rocking these clubs, the
Yeah.
concerts,
That's true.
and just
Amen.
keep on
My
working,
birthday
man.
is in like 2 weeks, so
Yeah,
hopefully
there you go.
this shit.
Same here. Same
Open
here.
Now,
back
we
up.
might have a birthday party
We gonna
right
have
here.
a-
Our birthdays
I'll
are-
yeah,
Both these times. We're actually
Throw a little-
we're actually gonna do Liz and I's 1 year anniversaries in October. So
Let me know. I'm in.
That'd be dope.
I'm
man.
in
here. Yeah.
Everyone come through because this is a big spot.
I
No,
love
for
this
sure,
spot.
yeah,
I love this
it's
spot.
perfect.
Yeah. And you hear the
setup
water
right here.
You hear the water because the creek is right there.
Oh, that's why I've been hearing the water. I'm like, what's
Yeah,
going on? But
yeah.
I love that. I love that. I love that.
So where people can find you, my man.
Everybody already know, man. At DJ IOP, same at DJ IOP, Instagram, Facebook, all your social media. And of course, want everybody to stay home, stay safe, stay blessed. Spend some good time with your family and everything. This is an amazing time that the world and the gods and God has given us so that we can spend some more time with our family regardless of whatever other hidden agendas anybody else has. It's actually a blessing for us to be together and waiting for this to be done so we can keep doing what we love and keep bringing entertainment. But for now, we'll keep bringing entertainment to your mobile, to your computer, to your car, to whatever. Thank you everybody for all the support that you give us in these times, and very grateful for everything that's happening. Aside from that is,
Love.
They can dance at home.
hey,
Mom doesn't. All right. So you hear it here. If you like what you hear, follow us on Instagram at Podcast ALV.
And to check out the full video, there's the links in the bio, so click on it, check it out.
Yep. Like and subscribe on YouTube. And to also listen to it, go to ALVpodcast.com, where you can also see all the YouTube videos and all the other past. Oh, episode 15 was DJ IOP,
Hey,
by the way. So if
yeah.
you want to check
Check
the
it
last
out.
one, hit it up. All right. Till next time.
Peace.
yeah.